In this video, you'll discover how it led to the invention of calculus, and you'll learn the difference between average rate of change and instantaneous rate of change. Let's begin with something everyone understands: a moving car. As time passes, the distance traveled changes. This relationship between distance and time tells a story about motion. What we're really interested in is how quickly that distance is changing. That idea is called the rate of change, and in this situation, it's the car's velocity. Think of rate of change as answering one simple question. Whenever time moves forward, how much does the distance change? If a small change in time causes a large change in distance, the object is moving quickly. If the distance barely changes, the object is moving slowly. This simple idea appears everywhere in physics, economics, biology, engineering, and even artificial intelligence. A rate of change measures numerator movement per unit of denominator. Think of it this way: move one step forward along the input or x-axis. How much does the output y value change? That change is called the rate of change. If your car accelerates at a perfectly constant rate, the graph is a straight line. In this ideal world, finding the slope is simple. High school algebra is all we need. The slope of a straight line is found by dividing the vertical change by the horizontal change. Here, delta means change in a physical quantity or variable. Here, numerator always represents change in your dependent or output variable, and denominator represents the change in your independent variable or input. This gives us the average rate of change between 2 points. Suppose the car travels with a uniform increase in speed, gaining 12 meters per second in every 4-second interval. Divide the change in speed by the change in time, and the average rate of speed change is 3 meters per second per second. Easy enough, but here's the problem. In reality, real cars don't move like straight lines. Drivers accelerate, brake, stop at traffic lights, and turn corners. The graph becomes curved, and now the slope changes every second. And measuring the rate is more complex now. Average rate of change so connects two distinct points in time. We can still join 2 points like with a second line and calculate the average rate of change, but this only tells us what happened over the whole journey. It completely misses what happened in between. Your speedometer gives your instantaneous speed, the exact speed at one precise moment. This is the quantity scientists, engineers, and mathematicians wanted to calculate. But how can mathematics measure something happening at a single instant? Let's try using the slope formula at just 1 point. There's an immediate problem. There isn't a second point, the change in time becomes 0, and dividing by 0 is impossible. Algebra has reached its limit. Instead of using only 1 point, mathematicians kept a second point, but moved it closer and closer to the first, not equal, just incredibly close. As the second point moves closer, the time interval delta x becomes smaller and smaller. The interval becomes an instant. The average rate of change begins to reveal something remarkable. It starts approaching the exact rate at that instant. Watch carefully. When delta x is very, very small and the interval becomes an instant, the secant line slowly rotates. Eventually, it becomes a tangent line touching the curve at only 1 point. We've almost found the exact slope at that instant. As the interval shrinks towards 0, the average rate of change approaches a single unique value. That value is the instantaneous rate of change. Mathematicians gave this powerful idea a name, the limit. Instead of letting the interval become 0, they studied what happened as it got infinitely close to 0. That tiny difference changed mathematics forever. From this single idea came an entirely new branch of mathematics, differential calculus. With it came new notation, new techniques, and the ability to describe motion, growth, change, and optimization with incredible precision. To sum it up, algebra handles the macro world using averages to show us the big picture. Derivatives concept handle the micro world, zooming in to calculate the exact rate of change at any single moment. The summary of the whole discussion is here. Over the coming weeks, we'll be tackling exam-style questions covering differentiation, optimization, integration, and finding the area under curves. To make sure you don't miss any of these step-by-step solutions, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. If you enjoyed this visual explanation, subscribe to Math Chem SolveBox because we'll make advanced mathematics simple, visual, and intuitive.